And Marina, good to see you. And the Moles, hi, welcome. Not familiar with you. Are you LA people?
Friends of Brad and Karen's.
Oh, okay.
Remember we met you?
Oh, that's right.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, you are you LB Art or the other one? No, LB
No.
Moles. Okay.
Well,
Sorry, I didn't recognize you. It was a while ago. So are you tuning in from Chicago?
no, Woodland Hills.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, I'm glad you joined for the first time. What did you think of the movie?
We liked it. Didn't you like
Yeah, Maestro. Yeah, it was good.
it?
Good. Um, uh, Everybody liked it. Mitch, do you want to chime in and
Yes,
grumble?
yes. I thought that there was a lot of pregnant pauses in the movies that extended it far beyond my comfort level. And I thought that except for a few fantastic scenes, I thought it was a good movie, not great. I think he
Mhm.
could have made it great with some different writings and some different scenes, but I didn't think it was a great movie.
When you said pauses,
Maybe that's why I was disappointed because I was looking forward to it.
did you mean by pauses that there was slow exchanges between the characters?
Yes.
Okay. There may have been some, didn't bother many people, but can you think of one that bothered you the most?
A couple of scenes where he was looking at her and waiting to get a response, and she was looking up in the air.
Uh-huh.
It just didn't read well with the pace that I wanted the movie to
Okay.
go.
And what were some of your favorite scenes that you thought were knockouts?
The scene where he leads the orchestra was probably the best, one of the best scenes I've seen since Exodus. I mean, where he leads the orchestra in the,
Oh, in the
I think
church in
England
England.
filmed that
Yeah,
in England.
that's a remarkable scene, and that's very important. Um, and is one of my favorite scenes too. It's a single camera shot, except for a few cuts at the end to the individual players. But we'll talk about that at length because that's central to one of the themes of the film. Uh, Hands up, didn't Risa and then Linda have something to say, and then Steve?
I
Risa?
I hadn't read very much about it or anything before I saw it. I was very disappointed.
Mhm.
The music, of course, was fabulous, and it was nice that it fit what was going on in the movie. You know, they changed the music appropriately. But I expected to see more about Letty and his problems and his magnificent work in the world. And didn't get it. Didn't get it. I got just too much of what I guess the it was set out to do, which was the
Right.
relationship with his wife.
Okay.
The last scene, the what we were just talking about, that's what I expected more through it. I wanted to see him as the conductor, and we didn't get it until the end.
When he was teaching,
Really get it.
when he was teaching the young conductor Tanglewood, and then wound up dancing with him.
Well, that was lovely. That was lovely.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm
but
glad you brought that up because it presents a central problem for this film, and that is what was the intention and how does that conflict with our expectations of the material?
exactly.
Let's hear from some other people. Linda, you're muted.
Yeah,
Lower.
I'll take myself off mute. Yeah, I thought there was a lot of focus on his wife. In reading in watching the film, I became very engaged in her role and of course the tragedy of her loss. I think there was so much of a balance. It to me took away from some of the focus on him. And I would have liked to have seen more of his music that he played. I remembered I actually did see Bernstein at New York Philharmonic one time. It's very, very animated, and I thought that Bradley Cooper did a great job of really capturing that. And the music is flowing through him, especially as is mentioned in the last scene.
Mhm.
But I think for many people who I've talked to, the focus on her death and the way she died and the slow death really drained them and took away perhaps some of the balance to focus more on the life of Bernstein and his contributions to the world.
Okay, I can see why you'd feel that way. Steve Miller has something to say.
Well, fortunately, I had no expectations, and I know some people liked or didn't like it based on whether it did what they expected. My problem, I just thought it was slow. I prefer movies with some plot, and I don't know. For me, it just kind of dragged for most of the time. I just had a very hard time getting involved in the movie.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. It's a particular style of filmmaking. And we can go into what might have contributed to that. Fern, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, I think people are asking why didn't he make the movie they wanted him to make? He made the movie about the subject he wanted to make. And that's what he did. That's what filmmakers do. In terms of the style of it, I loved it. I thought it fit perfectly with the kind of music that he conducted. It was not, although it took place in chronological order, it wasn't a chronological story film. It was lyrical, like the music, and one felt pulled in and out and moving. I felt like I was moving with the music in the story. I loved it.
Great. Marina somewhere has something to say, and then Joel.
I didn't feel like it was focusing on his wife. I felt like it was focusing on on his relationship, on a different entangled relationship and his wife. So her death was just one of the episodes in his relationships that will continue after she died.
Yeah. Remember the film opened with him playing the piano, and there's this beautiful shot because the camera's going around a corner, and only at the end do we see there are two cameras filming him. And then he talks to the camera and he says, it's always different on the piano. And I always think of the way she felt about the music. And that bookends the film because it ends with him at that piano again saying, commenting on his relationship with her. What else do you want to know about me? So let me sort of summarize what we've heard. Oh, Joel, go ahead. You're muted, Joel. Lower left corner, please.
Thanks. I think that Bernstein's life had so many facets to it. Because subsequent to viewing the film, we listened to